Fab, let's get cracking. So, thank you for joining us today for our Getting into the Christmas Spirit webinar. Today is all about Christmas and how you can help yourselves when it comes to recycling and reducing your waste. So, my name is Matthew McVeigh. I am a marketing engagement executive here at Recora. It was meant to be Marcelo, but you got me instead. I'm so sorry. And today we're going to look at mass consumption and how that affects the planet. Also look at how Recora can help, how your impact can be played on the planet, and then there'll be a small selection for question and answering at the end. Now, before we begin, I have a little question for you. And that is, how many unwanted gifts are given each year? So there are four options there, A, B, C, or D. I'd love if you could just pop in the chat what you think the answer is between the four. Just pop in either the number or pop in the letter. Okay, lots of C's, couple of B's in there. C's, B's. Okay, the answer actually is D. 33 million gifts that are unwanted every single year, which is a large amount of unwanted gifts. Unwanted hats, gloves, socks from your mother-in-law, your granny. So it's always ending up in the bottom cupboard, given away to charity or re-gifted, shall we say. But we're going to look at some ways in which we can help kind of reduce that number. Firstly, taste, but there's others as well. So mass consumption at Christmas. So 30% of unwanted gifts are either binned or kept but never used. So they go into that silly drawer that you have at the bottom of your shelf that's filled with batteries, chargers, unwanted gifts, or they end up just being thrown into the bin. And normally they don't end up being recycled. So it ends up just going straight into that general waste. Food, 7 million tons of food is binned each Christmas. So kind of over that festive period, we bin a lot of food. So we're going to look at some ways in which we can reduce that as well today. 227,000 miles of Christmas wrapping is thrown away every year, and that is not always recyclable wrapping. So you've got glittery wrapping paper, you have that sort of like texturized wrapping paper that is not always recyclable. So we're going to be having a look at that also. And then finally, on average, a UK household throws away 3.5 black bags full of Christmas packaging every single year. So accumulate that to every single household in the UK, and you're looking at a lot of black bags. So let's have a look at what that does to affect our planet. So 12 million tons of plastic enters our oceans every single year. We've done a couple of webinars on this already, looking at sort of Marine Conservation Society and how they deal with plastic pollution and ways in which we can make sure that we're recycling plastic properly. Food as well, as I said, 7 million tons of food that's binned every Christmas. You can make sure that that's being recycled into a food bin or give it away, give it to charities, give it to your neighbors, give it to those that are vulnerable and need food. There's many other solutions there. Your wrapping paper that affects as well. There's a lot of options and ways in which we can affect our planet. So how can Recora help you? Now we have a couple of options here, but these are just some of the main things that around about Christmas time that we can be helpful with. So firstly, Christmas tree recycling. So whether you use a real tree or a fake tree, there's many pros and cons to this, and we will talk about that later on. However, for just now, we're going to talk about real trees, and real trees can be recycled. They can be sent and they're turned into wood chips. So if your office space has a Christmas tree that is in the reception and you're not too sure how you're planning to get rid of that at the end of the festive season, give us a call and we can be on hand to help with that. There's many options though. They can be donated to the zoo, and it can be used for bedding for some of the animals, can be turned into wood chips, and then can have a longer life with that, can be composted, or you can buy a tree that is still has its roots, so it can be regrown. I know a couple of people, some of my friends that have a real tree, and every year they pop it back in the garden, it sprouts a little bit more, and then they pop it back in the house for Christmas. Sometimes because of the weather, they look slightly on the brown side. However, it is an option if you want to make sure that you're kind of creating that process without binning anything. Second one here we have is our plastic packaging. So, you know, anything that is soft plastics that can be crushed and it'll pop back out. That is a flexible plastic. We have something called a sustainable box. We've spoken about it quite a lot on our webinars throughout the year. However, if you do have a lot of flexi plastics, we can collect those and get them melted down and turned into storm board. I'm sorry, if anyone else, if you cannot hear me, please do let me know. Does not say I'm muted. I'm hoping I'm still there. Perfect. Grand. Yeah, so any sort of like flexi plastics, they'll be turned into storm board, which is like a sort of hard, malleable plastic. It can be melted down, turned into park benches, bins, Christmas trees that you can even have made out of the storm board. Can be used on construction sites as well. So yeah, there's lots of different ways in which that flexi plastic can be used instead of going into your general waste and being melted down and whatnot. And then finally is cardboard. Now, cardboard is something that we all recycle. It's quite a common recycling item at the moment. However, it's really important just for when we're picking up your cardboard that it is all flat packed, and where possible, stickers and tape can be removed. And the reason for this is the less tape that it has on it, the less stickers, the higher the quality. And then when we recycle that, it can go on to have a slightly longer life, shall we say. But these are our three main. There will be other things that we collect a lot of over Christmas. And I'd like you to have a little think until the end, and we'll have a little question time. But let me know if there are any other items that you'd like to recycle or that you currently don't know what to do with, and we'll try our best to help you. Perfect. Now, what can you do to help? So, how to be a sustainable Secret Santa. So, Secret Santa is coming around. A lot of offices will do it. There's a lot of people that will spend their time buying gifts, wrapping gifts, and being slightly uncertain about what to get someone in their office that they don't necessarily see all the time. So, these are some quick tips for you. So, as I said at the beginning, any shiny wrapping paper or glittery wrapping paper, it results in it being unrecyclable a lot of the time. So just make sure that when you're purchasing your wrapping paper that it is recyclable, and you're making sure that it is placed into the right bin at the end. So here are some options for you. You can use reusable gift bags. So gift bags, you know, with a little knot on them, you can tie them at the end. There's other wrapping alternatives. So in the top corner there, you'll see there's newspapers or brown paper. It just gets ripped and thrown away anyway. So unless you're trying to make it look incredibly lovely, wrapping it in something like that is going to do the job also. You can also use digital e-gifts or experiences, so something that doesn't result in it being lodged at the back of a drawer and not used again. And then finally, you have charitable donations. So I know a lot of people that when they give gifts, they will give a charitable donation of a tree, or helping someone in need or an animal, and they'll help adopt something and help someone that needs the help, and give a donation in that way. So there's some options there for you just to make sure that you're being somewhat sustainable with Secret Santa. But the main thing for me is definitely anything glittery or anything shiny normally can't be recycled. So please make sure you're having a check of the label before you bin it to see what bin you're placing that into. And here we also have serving up your zero food waste feast. So these are just some sort of tips and tricks regarding making sure that you are all set for the Christmas season in terms of your dinner. So as I said, 30% of the food that we produce is wasted at Christmas time. So there are just 6 options for you here just to make sure that you're being somewhat helpful. So only buy and cook as much as you need. I am fully aware when it comes to Christmas time, we overindulge. It's kind of one of the joys of Christmas, shall we say. However, where you can, if you have the option to kind of like reduce what you're buying, making sure that you're not over expanding for how many people you have, please try where possible not to, because a lot of the time it just ends up going into the bin. Organize that through a list. So having a Christmas list, get your list out when you go shopping. Most people do this anyway, but it is important just to make sure that you plan ahead, because otherwise you end up in the shop like myself most nights, just throwing things in the basket, slightly unsure what's happening. Um, but where we can at Christmas time, make sure you're keeping an eye on that. Space in the freezer, so leftovers, a huge part of Christmas also. A lot of people left over for the first sort of couple of days before the new year, but if you have things that you don't think you'll use straight away, make sure you've got space in your freezer where you can to prep that, and you can use that later on. Create new leftovers. I know a lot of people will use that extra turkey to create curries, soups, all sorts. So have a little look online or use your imagination for some other recipes that you could use. Share your surplus food. So we have recently just partnered with a food donation charity called Plan Zeros. Plan Zeros are a food waste platform. They are basically the middleman between people who have lots of food to give away and people who need food. You can use their app if you're a business. So if you have a cafe or a restaurant within your office space, or you're producing a lot of food, you can place the food that you're planning on bidding on this platform, on this online platform, and charities that require that food will be able to contact you and come and collect that or find a way. We have just started partnering with them. We're very excited for the future with them. But they work in areas such as King's Cross, Borough Market, making sure that all that surplus food that will end up in the bin has someone that is going to make use of that. And then finally, if all else fails, please make sure that you're using your food bin rather than general waste, and especially rather than the recycling bin. Make sure that that food is going into your food bin, so that it can then be placed into our anaerobic digestion plant. All the food there basically starts to rot away, and the gases that are produced kind of create energy, and then the pulp at the end is used as a fertilizer to grow more food. So there's kind of two lifespans when food is recycled properly. We are coming close to the end, but the final one from me is making the most of your Christmas tree. Now, there's many pros and cons to a real or a fake Christmas tree, but these are just some of the ones that we've thought of here in the office. So in terms of a real Christmas tree, they can be recycled and turned into wood chips, which is great. They add a natural scent. A lot of people like having a Christmas tree that is natural. The problem with that is it's obviously removing a tree that is growing within our environment, and it does have a higher fire risk. Um, so just kind of that's the pros and cons of that one. And then your fake, they cost less over time. So, if you buy a Christmas tree that's gonna last you for 5, 6, 7 years, that will be cheaper than it would to buy a real one every single year. Be reused if it's good quality, and it is normally a lot more convenient. Less cleaning around, shall we say. The problem there is normally they cannot be recycled, and they do have a larger environmental impact if they're used for less than 5 years. So there are pros and cons to both. It's something that over the years people have definitely changed their minds on. I think kind of as we've started to see a larger growth in kind of mass consumption, fake trees are starting to kind of be seen as more of a problem. It used to be natural trees, cutting down lots of trees was bad, but now it's kind of a bit of an outweigh of both. Many people have different opinions there. I'd love to know in the chat if you want to let me know whether you are a real tree or a fake tree person. Please do let me know now. I unfortunately am a fake tree. I'd love a real tree. However, my London flat would not be able to cope with a real one. On the topic of fake trees, I did buy a tree from Sainsbury's not that long ago, and the tree was on a click and collect. I was ready to pick that up, and walked into Sainsbury's ready to pick it up, and the staff member went, "Oh, we don't have a tree, unfortunately. The only tree we received today was this one in our window." they had stolen my tree and placed it in their window for display. So that was great. Fake, a lot of people have had it for 30 years. Wow, that's a long time. That's great. 11 years, perfect. 8 years, amazing. 25, perfect. Some fake, some reals, perfect. Yeah, grand. And that's the thing with this one is it is very much one or the other. I know some people use regrowth trees as well. It's just making sure that whatever you use, you kind of recycle it properly or you use it to its kind of full capacity. So yeah, thanks guys for answering that one. Now, that is us at the end of our very quick webinar on what to do around about Christmas, but this is your option to answer any questions. If you do have anything for me, please do let me know. I'll try my best to help you. Also there, if you don't already, feel free to follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, for anything else. We post a lot of our updates on our LinkedIn. But yeah, any questions, let me know. What can be done with discarded Christmas lights, especially the battery operated ones? Large quantities are being disposed of. Can turkey bones be in the food we live in? So the first one, regarding electrics. So anything that is battery powered, we would normally say, please remove the battery first before you place it in our bins. With Recora's bins, so we only deal with commercial waste rather than residential. What we would say is any sort of electrics that you have, we would collect separately in our IT crates. We have our electrics. So the battery, please place into your battery bins, and then the IT can be collected separately. So all your electrics, whether that would be the Christmas lights, a toaster, a microwave, whatever it is, it can all be collected separately. Because of the battery, we would not suggest placing them in general waste or in recycling. A lot of times that can happen, and when it's crushed in our bins, when it's crushed through our trucks, it can spark a light and cause fires. So it's really important that that battery, similarly with vapes or laptop batteries, any form of battery, is not placed within your general waste or recycling bin. Bones is absolutely fine to go through the food as well. So please just make sure that you're placing all bones, meats, fruit, veg, anything of the sort can go into your food bin. Yeah. If there are any other questions, please do let me know. On the topic of other things that we remove at Christmas, there's sort of like Christmas cards. So having a look at that as an option. Do you need to be sending kind of like mass Christmas cards to everyone? Is that a larger consumption that we need? You can use e-gift cards. I've definitely over the years reduced the amount of Christmas cards that I give. For more reasons than one. I'm normally if I'm not receiving one, I'm not doing it either. But it's just making sure that you're kind of reducing that mass consumption where possible. But if there are any more questions, feel free to let me know. And thank you for joining us for today's webinar. We are currently in the midst of planning our 2024 webinars. We will still have one a month. We've loved the kind of support and the attendance that we've had throughout the year on these webinars. They've always been well attended, and they're a great time for us. So thank you for joining us. If you have any other questions, then feel free to send us an email. You can do that through ours, so marketing@recora.co.uk, and I can answer any questions there regarding this webinar. But if there's no more questions, I will keep this one short and sweet, and hope you have a lovely Christmas when it comes and a great festive season. No worries. Thank you very much, guys. Take care of yourselves.